Hello, friends. Welcome. I hope that you all enjoyed that extra hour of sleep that we got last night, or the extra hour at least. I don't know. Some of you may not have slept through it. It was Halloween, so happy Halloween to all of you, and happy Dia de los Muertos as well. Welcome to our live streaming services. We are here with you on Facebook, YouTube, and on Zoom. If you're here with us on Zoom, welcome. We're happy to have you. Please consider sticking around afterwards for what we call Talk Back, which is a time where we can talk about the service and enjoy each other's company. Today's service is Make Something with Sherri Randall, talking to us about something that I think we all have a lot of problems with, which is creating something just for the enjoyment sake of it and not for the commercialization of it. And, whatever. Oh, thank you all who helped with the Haunted Forest, all who visited the Haunted Forest. It was a wonderful success, and I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't volunteer, but I did show up. And just thank you to everybody who made it possible. It was really incredible. I can't believe that we did so well with it during COVID. So, Election Day is Tuesday. I assume that most of you have early voted already, because UUs and the UUCOC Church in particular is very, very adamant about voting. And I've seen a lot of you on Facebook say so. But if for some reason you haven't voted, you still got that one last day. Voting day. Very exciting. If you're feeling some angst about voting day or anything else, and you're needing some pastoral care, please contact Deneen at pastoralcare@oakcliffuu.org. She will also be having a special after-election check-in on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So come and join us for that. Talk about the results, whatever they may be. And she also holds weekly Zoom check-ins and chats. That's Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 p.m. So join that. Those are lots of fun. Our online auction fundraiser. Come on. Lots of you have already donated. Thank you so much. If you have something to donate, or you would like to donate your services and help out with it, email Donna Leach at auctions@oakcliffuu.org. If you are an artist or a craftsperson who would like to donate something and receive a portion of the purchase price, use the same email, but address it to Nancy Harms. If you do volunteer your time or talent for anything, please be sure to report your time so that we can turn it into grant money. And we know that we could use it this year, right? Do that in Breeze. There are also other ways to financially help your church. oakcliffuu.org/donate, Amazon Smile if you're using Amazon, iGive if you're using anything else, the text to give option, and our Facebook button. Make it real easy for you. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to have you. Again, consider sticking around for Talkback afterwards, and sign our guest book at oakcliffuu.org/guest. Member anniversaries. Got a few fun ones here for you. First of all, we have Sandra Coaching Hour. Yay! And we also have Carol and Darvin Stevens. Yes. Yay! Love those member anniversaries. Those are some good ones. All right, that's everything for this week. I hope you all have a very happy Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Leave aside the little thoughts that distract you, for this place, like all places, is a holy place. And now, like all times, is a holy time. Join with this community of seekers, and together, let us find.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness. And now in Spanish. Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
O spinner, weaver of our lives, your loom is love. May we who are gathered here be empowered by that love to weave new patterns of truth, justice into a web of life that is strong, beautiful, and everlasting.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in a winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and the rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Because we love one another, we honor each individual spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro, honramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y aceptación, así que hacemos pacto.
At this time in the service, we take time to share what is in our hearts and on our minds. If your heart is heavy today, know you do not have to carry that sorrow alone. Your heartache is a shared sorrow. A shared sorrow is a sorrow halved. Please share your sorrows publicly in the Zoom post, Zoom chat, or send those to our Facebook Messenger to speak those aloud.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
A shared joy is double the joy. Please share your joys publicly in posts, the Zoom chat, or send those to our Facebook Messenger, or speak those aloud.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart of the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
This poem is called Q&A, as in question and answer. For the sound of it, for the shakes, for practice, for play, for channel surfing the all mind, for brevity, for wit, for lush languaged songs of pain, for mapping the way to survive. That's what poetry is for. I wrote that poem 16 years ago when someone online asked about the purpose of a specific section of our message board. Although wordplay has long been my creative outlet of choice, my sole practice, so to speak, I've also long believed that all forms of non-malicious creativity contain the seeds of inherent worth and spiritual enrichment. Poetry, painting, macrame, sculpting in sand or clay, singing and dancing, whether to an old tune or one that you make up as you go along, practicing the culinary arts or growing a garden, curating a collection of aesthetic trinkets or puns that make your friends groan, drawing or scribbling or decorating the sidewalk with colorful chalk, making a collage or playing the kazoo, rearranging the furniture to make a more welcoming space for yourself and others. I could easily spend an hour listing various activities and still only scratch the surface of how it's possible to engage our creative selves and bring more artistry into our lives. Why is it then that by the time many people reach adulthood, they've given up on the idea of seeing themselves as artistic or creative? I think that several things come into play, including that as we find ourselves more burdened by adult responsibilities, we tend to forget the value of play, of doing something for the sheer enjoyment of doing it. I was going to tell you a story at this point, a true one, that started once upon a time. But as I began to type it out, I thought to myself, I probably already have that written down somewhere,
and I went to look for it. I was actually surprised by what I found. I wanted to write a poem today. I wanted to write a poem today about standing on the lawn in a sheer sundress, tossing a toy elephant into the air while the cat watched from inside the house and neighbors maybe watched from across the street, and I watched Babar flying toward blue sky and falling back into my outstretched arms again and again and again and grinned. I wanted to write a poem today about how a chore became a silly, solitary game when I set out to pound the dust from yards of gray plush and got so carried away that even the cat seemed to laugh, and the neighbors, maybe watching my back from across the street, must have thought me mad as a March hare, but I didn't care because it was fun. I wanted to write a poem today. Instead, I wrote this. There are a couple of things that I hope you'll take away from my once upon a time story. For one thing, it turns out that allowing yourself to be playful can replenish your creative wellspring in surprising ways. The other takeaway is that engaging with your creative self really does encompass activities far outside the boundaries of what is traditionally considered art. If you can put your own spin on something as mundane as spring cleaning, and I think you can, you are creative. Turning now to the kind of activities that are more traditionally considered artistic, writing, singing, painting, and such. We tend to run into a couple of other impediments when it comes to finding and following our creative paths. Too often, we come to believe that making art is more about the art than the making. That unless we can create something so masterful that it qualifies as art with a capital A, it's not worth making the attempt. This idea can't help but be reinforced when we are surrounded by and drowning in a culture that measures everything by the yardstick of the almighty dollar. When we do manage to set aside the idea that the only art worth making is art that will make money, we still have to contend with the voices in our head that say what we make is not good enough. Honestly, I mean, it's happening to me right now as I prepare these remarks. Words are my jam, but when I try to put a lot of them together in one place, they often feel jammed up and stilted. And I'm only now beginning to realize how very, very many words it takes to speak for 10 or 15 minutes. I would love to feel confident in my ability to write and deliver a thought-provoking service that comes across with the sort of direct conversational ease that some people seem to manage. But right now, the self-critical voice in my head is yapping at me about all the ways that I am probably going to fall short of that goal. The thing is, it really doesn't matter at this point whether that yapping voice is right or wrong, because here I am working on my spiritual practice right in front of you. It is some consolation to think that the chances of this video going viral are slim to none. There may be times when you struggle to complete a creative project and can see only its flaws and shortcomings when you step away. Flaws that are too often magnified by our tendency to compare ourselves with other artists or creators who knock our socks off. That was my reaction late one night when a friend sent me something by the Sufi poet Rumi, and it inspired this bit of doggerel. I will take my broken heart now, thank you very much, fold it under my pillow and rest a while, wondering if the truth fairy will visit, forgive the decayed state of the goods, and leave me bus fare for the next stop on what looks to be a long, long trip. If you are an adult hearing this service in 2020, you've already been on a long journey. The last 12 months alone have probably aged you as much as any dozen years. But if you are lucky, you may still have the journey of some good years ahead of you. I believe that your life and the lives of the people around you will be better and more fun if you find ways to nurture and value your creative self. As Eric Walker Wickstrom, author of the Spirit and Practice workshop material, points out, our attachment to outcomes is a problem that hinders more than just our ability to express ourselves creatively. Over and over again in our lives, this issue is a stumbling block. It could even be said that the core of the spiritual traditions of humankind is the encouragement to become free from such attachments. Worry about how someone will respond, the outcome, keeps us from speaking up. Concern about failure keeps us from taking a risk and trying something new. Again and again, we find ourselves hampered by our attachment to the outcome of a given situation. So even if there were no other benefit, he continues, engaging in a regular practice of artistic creation provides opportunities to practice releasing our attachment to an outcome, and does so in a safe way. The last poem that I'm going to share was written by a dear friend of mine in California. When she shared it with me some weeks ago, I told her, that fits right in with what I'm supposed to talk about in November. That would be reason enough to include it here with her permission, but doing so also brings this service full circle in another way. 9.5 years ago, when I was exploring the question, should I pursue the urge to find a church? And musing about what that might look like or mean, I typed the words, what I want is, what is it that I want? What I want is to feel like I used to feel, connected, purposeful, useful. This poem is by the friend who replied, you sound like a Unitarian to me. Painting by Kathleen McCall. I painted behind the stove today, sitting on the sticky floor with my can and brush, happy to paint something no one would see. I always paint those places, the behinds and underneaths, scrubbing back and forth with my cheap brush. Brush in one direction, don't let the paint creep up the brush. Yes, I know, but behind the stove is mine, and so is this dollar store brush. I do my best work when no one is watching. It's a simple joy. You know no one will ever see back there. I know, and that is why I am painting it. In closing, I offer this invitation and exhortation. Take a few minutes today to consider the ways in which you are or would like to be creative. Then go out this week and make something. What you make doesn't have to end up anywhere close to perfect. It doesn't even have to be put on display, unless that also brings you joy, or you impulsively volunteer to step into the pulpit and talk about it. What matters is that you learn to find satisfaction and spiritual growth in the process of making, And by doing so, open yourself up to a wider world of possibility.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. To make an offering or your pledge, please go to oakcliffuu.org/donate and follow the links. Thank you.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
Our creative souls need nurturing and understanding. How do we remain creatively open? Where does our inspiration come from? How can we embrace our negative selves? What can we say to our internal judges and critics? How can we best share our creativity? I believe we are all highly creative with important gifts to share, words to speak and write, lights to shine on ourselves and others. In order to do this work, we need tending, planting, weeding, nourishing. This is all work we must do in our interior gardens.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And now in Spanish. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.